If your AI investment still isn't paying off, the problem may not be the model at all. It may be leaking value in 4 different places inside of the business. Because a lot of companies, they're just responding to unreliable AI by buying a smarter model, writing a longer prompt, connecting more tools, or adding another agent to check on the first agent. Well, I think that's totally backwards. Every time that a model has to interpret a fixed rule, search through disconnected information, move data between systems, or review its own work, the business buys another opportunity for the process to drift. And they're paying for every single attempt as well. The better design is normally actually much smaller. Code handles what should be exact. AI handles the narrow part that genuinely requires judgment. Okay? Then the code checks the answers before any other consequences happen. Okay? This is not an argument against AI. It's an argument against paying for AI to improvise work that should never change in the first place. Anthropic documented one tool-heavy workflow that was consuming about 150,000 tokens. By letting code find the correct tools, move the data, and filter the results before returning anything to the model, that fell to 2,000 tokens. That is a 98.7% reduction in that one documented example. EY recently illustrated the same economic problem, but from another direction. Its example starts with 4-cent customer service interaction. It add planning, tool retrieval, iterative loops, and subagents, and the interaction became $1.20, 30 times the cost, from 4 cents to $1.20. That's just one illustration. Not a promise that every agent costs 30 times more, but it does demonstrate the real issue at hand. An AI agent is not just a software license. It is a variable cost process, and every additional step has to earn its place. The first leak is fragmented company truth. A customer status might live in the CRM. Their complaint is in another support platform, and their current price is maybe in a spreadsheet somewhere else even. The exception somebody approved, that's buried in Slack or email. Then the business asks an AI agent, what do we tell this customer? Well, the AI may produce a very confident answer, but confidence does not mean it saw the complete truth. It can only work from what information it was given, the systems it can access, and the records the retrieval process happened to actually find. More prompting does not create missing access. A larger context window does not decide which conflicting record is authoritative. And another agent does not magically know whether finance, sales, or operations owns the correct answer. So Deloitte's 2026 enterprise report is pretty direct about this. Poor or fragmented data compounds risk and undermines every AI initiative that's built on top of it. So before I call something a hallucination problem, I ask a more uncomfortable question first. Did the business ever create one usable version of the truth? That means common customer identifiers, defined sources of truth, maybe freshness rules, like how often does it get updated, permissions, and a written decision about which system wins when 2 records disagree. So I want normal software retrieving and joining those facts wherever possible, and then I want the AI model reasoning over a bounded set of relevant information. The AI should not be searching the company's attic and guessing which box contains the truth. But even perfectly connected data will not save a system if the AI is still being asked to improvise work that should happen the exact same way every single time. That's the second leak, and I think it's the biggest one of all of them. Businesses are using AI for work that should just be ordinary software. The agent, it calculates a price. Then it checks whether the required fields are present. And then let's say it decides which folder it needs to use. Then it formats a date. Maybe it makes a known value from a system or from one system to another. Then let's say it interprets the approval limit that was already written down before previously. I mean, those jobs do not need creativity. Creativity is a liability there because every single step should produce the same result every single time, which means I want normal software handling it. Code, right? Calculations, data rules, required fields, whether it's file names, permissions, approval limits, customer eligibility, known data transfers. Like, these are the elements that these are fixed procedures, not judgment cases. Judgment cases are for AI, not fixed procedures, right? AI earns its place when the input is genuinely ambiguous and the work requires interpretation and judgment. Which part of the conversation is most compelling? What is the customer actually asking here? Does this unusual situation resemble one of our known exception categories? What themes might appear across these unstructured notes that we have, right? These are examples of where AI judgment is genuinely useful. So this is the kind of boundary that I use when building my batch clip system, which you can see in another video on my channel. The video is transcribed locally. The main scoring pass sends the transcript over to Gemini so that the model can make judgment-heavy decisions and come up with an editing plan, deciding which moments actually appear the strongest for clipping. It returns structured information back, and then normal code checks the timestamps, and it just handles what edits need to be made based on the plan that Gemini came up with, okay? It's really that simple. So the model proposes an idea, the software verifies and executes it, which actually ends up bringing me to the third leak. The same job is being passed through too many AI steps. The agent plans the job, then it chooses a tool, then it copies information into another system. Okay, then it formats the information, then the agent's, checking that formatting, and then people are using another model to review their first model, which then the other model decides whether it even agrees with the review. Like the original model decides, does it agree with the review agent? It looks sophisticated on a diagram, it looks fancy in a demo, but inside a business, it can behave like 6 people passing the same form around because nobody actually owns the process. Plus, every handoff adds costs, every handoff adds delay, every handoff creates just another place where information can end up being dropped, reinterpreted, or entirely invented and hallucinated. I found this problem inside my own software months back. When I checked out the current batch clip path for the video, I found a second logical AI call for generating stitch clips. And that's where the AI bloat happens, even in software intentionally designed to happen. It's like, I'm not going to hide that because it gives me the same question every business should be asking, right? Does this additional AI call give measurable improvement to the completed job to justify the additional cost and time? If it does, then it can stay. If it does not, then it comes out and or maybe you even make a toggle and make it explicitly optional. I do not have like a before and after token benchmark for this clipping program because it's always stayed within the free limits of Gemini. But what I can show is the architectural boundary and the actual recorded usage, because every AI call, it needs a named job. Every call needs observable usage, and every call needs evidence that it's actually improving the final result. So the fourth leak, that appears when personal AI habits quietly become company infrastructure. So let's say one employee has a brilliant Claude project, another one has collection of ChatGPT prompts, and sales uploaded one version of their pricing rules, operations department maybe uploaded another, right? They're building an agent with a personal workflow full of all these skills that they just pulled in from a GitHub, and now that person's whole thing is messed. Anyways, multiply that across all the departments in the business. They're not creating AI capability. They're actually creating AI liability. It just creates dozens of unofficial workers that are blowing through token usage. Microsoft's 2026 Work Trend Index surveyed 20,000 people who use AI at work, and only 26% said their leadership was clearly and consistently aligned on AI. Otherwise, it was just use AI. Deloitte found that nearly 3/4 of companies expect to deploy agentic AI within 2 years, but only 21% report mature governance for autonomous agents, meaning like there's a huge gap with a lot of risk. It's because companies are giving more people more access, they're connecting more agents, and they're automating more actions before the organization has even agreed on the rules that need to be in place. Then the model gets blamed when customer answers change between departments, right? I'm not interested in scaling everybody's personal prompting habits, but I want the useful habits turned into company control workflows, right? Approved sources, maybe shared instructions, define output formats. clear quality standards, right? Version history, an owner for each workflow, and ideally that core data layer of truth and facts that is verified. Plus a visible escalation path when the system is uncertain so it gets sent to the right person. The goal is not to force everybody to write identical prompts and just copy and paste. The goal is to stop the company from having 5 definitions of a correct result and instead focus on automating one good workflow. So before I approve an AI workflow, these are the 5 questions I now ask. First, what is the one part of this job that genuinely requires judgment? That is the candidate for AI. Second, what should happen the same way every single time? That belongs in code, just like an ordinary workflow. Third, which system contains the authoritative facts, that layer of truth? If nobody can answer that, adding AI comes after fixing the data. Fourth, what automatically rejects a bad result? Not another vague prompt, but a real rule test, approval boundary, or a human-in-the-loop checkpoint. And fifth, what is our cost per job that is completed correctly? Not cost per token, not cost per model call, not a demo that only worked once. What did it actually cost to produce a usable business outcome with retries, review, maintenance, and correction included? That is the metric that exposes whether the system is creating leverage or merely just creating activity that looks cool. If we are trying to make an existing business AI first, this is the real work. Not collecting more tools, not dropping agents into every department, not just spamming new skills. It is taking a real process and identifying the narrow point where intelligence creates value and building a controlled system around that. That is the kind of implementation work that we go through inside of my community. Link at the top of the description below if that's the problem that you're also currently trying to solve. But whether we build it together or not, I would audit every current AI workflow using those 5 questions. Because the goal is not to have the most intelligent looking system. It is to have the simplest system that reliably produces the right result. The best business AI does not think more. It knows exactly when it should not have to think at all. Okay, I hope you guys like this video. My name's Nolan Grout. Again, link at the top of the description. Come join the community. Get AI starting to grow your businesses, marketing, businesses, social media pages on your behalf, engaging, posting, generating content for you. Get the clipping software, everything inside the community. Learn how to work with AI agents. Get them set up for your business in all these different kinds of ways. And yeah, talk to you guys later. Peace.